every year guys ask me, Rabbi, you gonna remember me? Right? You know, once I had some guy from Columbus that every single day said, "You gonna remember me? You gonna remember me?" One thing I will say for sure, and that is, we in the yeshiva will never forget this crazy year that we just went through. Right? We entered into a bizarre world of shkuftot and masks, capsulot and vaccinations, and two concepts that sound like a children's television show, Zoom and Captain Corona. We lived through a year that every time someone coughed, he had to apologize and say, "It's not Corona, it's not Corona." We were here when Israel dealt with Corona better than any country, and then we didn't. We got vaccines quicker than any country, but that led people to feeling they needed to let go and get out of bidud, and unfortunately we had tragedy at Meron. We got to watch an actual battle on Har HaBayit while saying Hallel on the day that we received Har HaBayit in the nace of the 6-Day War. We watched the battle going on. And you were here for 4,000 rockets that landed in Israel and got to experience the nace of the Iron Dome. Tavshin Pei Aleph was not just another year. As we come to a close, we feel that on the one hand, we just got here, and on the other hand, it feels like it's been a decade since we've arrived in Israel. The first day of yeshiva is my favorite day. I look at the guys and I say, you know why this is so cool? I know what you're going to look like at the end. And I look now, I don't have to be Rebbe David to see the Or Torah that's on your face. It's unbelievable. But what Rebbe David didn't see is what I got to see, and that is what you look like in the beginning. Okay? I don't have to be a midwife to say, you guys were Vildachayas. Okay? Without a doubt. Certainly not ready for Tzahal. First of all, because you're scared of all your sins, or as Rabbeinu would say, klipas. And those who weren't, so you're talking between Tefillin Shal Yad and Tefillin Shal Rosh. Okay, what I mean by that is there was a disconnect between your thought and your action. Some of you were observant, but not religious. Some of you were religious, but not observant. And some of you weren't putting on tefillin. We'll get to that later. Many of you were bores, right? Both in Hebrew and English means the same thing. You had no manners, or as the English would say, you're Americans. One guy took his shirt off in the middle of a quarantine shiur, and right away I said, okay, that guy's in my shiur. Now I view that as there's a good sign. Chutz b'yaski. You know, this is clearly chutz b'yaski. Now, the rest of you are without a doubt Amei Haaretz. How are you Amei Haaretz? Oh, let me count the ways. First of all, how many people were saying Kriyat Shema? Shachris v'Arvis v'Birchotah. How many people were Miniach Tefillin? How many people were putting on tzitzit? And for those of you who think, okay, check, how many of you were Mishamish Talmid Chacham? What I mean by that, how many of you, up until this year, had a meaningful relationship with a Rebbe? And Baruch Hashem, we're no longer Amei Haaretz. I actually believe that this transformation that we all experienced this year has a lot to do with the Corona year that we had. I feel that because we had so many restrictions, it actually led to guys getting into it a little bit quicker than they might ordinarily have done. Asking real questions, searching for real answers, having meaningful conversations, not just with their rebbeim, which we did in shiur throughout the whole year, but amongst each other. That could be in the yeshiva, that can be in the dorms. And this is where the growth started to happen. It doesn't mean because of Corona there wasn't a lot of wasted time. If we would save all the money that was spent on alcohol and gambling in the beginning of the year and given it to the yeshiva, there would have been no need for Live Give Nativ. Then we have oneg, and we have chug, and we start to become attached to the emotional part of ourselves and not just the intellectual side. And pretty soon, chug becomes the highlight of the week. You guys will look forward to it like already a day in advance. Oh, tomorrow's chug. And then we had the beautiful, even with the kapsulot, the singing on Hanukkah, lighting of the Chanukiot, especially going to the Kotel with Rav Dina, unbelievable point in the year. And then Hamer takes us to a whole new level. Guys keeping track of their learning, and everyone else's at the same time. Pushing themselves more than they could have imagined. People learning late, through the breaks, before davening. It was a great feeling to come into the even before davening. Whether you go to the upstairs minyan or the downstairs minyan, there was a ton of people in there learning before davening. The seriousness spread to the tefillot as well. In the beginning of the year, when I would daven Shemona Esrei, I would be one of the last people finished. Now, when I daven Shemona Esrei, I'm one of the first. Guys start getting into davening. They decide they don't want to be stalkers anymore. They want to develop a relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And this year we had the schluss of Rav Adis. Okay, guys who Shana Aleph don't realize Rav Adis was in the yeshiva this year more than probably the last 10 years put together. Right? Unbelievable. Rav Adis with us all the time. My share especially. Rav Adis came in all the time. Shmuz with us all the time. You guys didn't understand what he said. We're actually talking about the Knicks, and everyone knew that. But Rav Adis was there all the time. Unbelievable. How I think the Knicks did so well this year. Anyway, okay, say. I got daily chizuk. Seeing people learning during the break, after davening. After davening, it's amazing. You go down to the Sephardi minyan, no one goes down to breakfast. I go in there to put my stuff away. They're all still there, they're learning. Okay? You stay upstairs. Everyone postpones breakfast. We're going to Rav Ami's halacha shir. Gemara and Sota starts praising David HaMelech, that even when David HaMelech became the king, he cared about, the Talmidei Chachamim, and gave them honor. What does it say about a Rosh Yeshiva who every day went to the shir of his Talmud? Think about that. Winter peaked when the kapsulot came down right before Purim. And then the dancing was crazy. Okay, everyone going nuts, and the Rabbina turns the Purim Misiva into a kumzitz. And everyone's makabel ol malchus shemayim. And it's unbelievable. Before this year, if someone were to ask you why you're Jewish, you would answer something akin to because of your stupid mother and my stupid mother. Okay? But now we're proud to be Jewish. Someone once asked the Kotzker Rebbe, how come the bracha shaloas any guys in the negative form? Why isn't it positive? He said, HaKadosh Baruch Hu made sure that you wouldn't be born a guy. To become a Jew, that's up to you. And you guys did that. You guys did that. Summer Zman shifts into high gear. And now everywhere you look, people are learning. People are chazering. The difference between, I mentioned this at someone was making a siyum in 301. The difference between pressure and passion is as follows. Pressure is the anxiety you feel to complete a task that you don't want to do. Passion is to give your all for something that you do want to do. And Summer Zman, you walked around and you saw passion. You saw people learning because they wanted to learn. Learning all the time. With all the learning that was going on Summer Zman, I bet many of you broke your Hamer hours and didn't even realize it. That's how much learning was going on after Pesach. I believe that some of you guys could have actually given Azai a run for his money to be shotgun of the year. Not sure? I think so. You couldn't go down to the dining room to get lunch without hearing Yonatan and his darbuka, another siyum and Rav Tzadok shir. Every day, another siyum. The truth is, everyone here made tremendous strides. As the Gemara says, first you start with Mikra. Okay, I love when I come to yeshiva, I just like, Shabbos lunch and start calling guys out. All right, questions, or Dvar Torah. And guys are sitting there saying beautiful Divrei Torah on the parsha. And then Mishnah. Now, true, some of you guys, you started only Mishnah when there was an Avil. But then people started getting into it. And a little shout out to Toby. Where's Toby? Okay, Toby went from Mr. Muscle to Mr. Mishnah this year. Made it seem Shas Mishnah. It's unbelievable. And every one of you that went to Gemara. And the amount of Gemara that you did. I mean, most guys, I'll come back to that. The Gemara that was learned here was phenomenal. And then what's the next stage of the Gemara? Ma'asim Tovim. Anyone say Hask? Okay, so that is the progression. That's the Yeshiva Netiv Aryeh progression. Okay, great. Most guys had never learned 49 daf in their life, cumulatively. Right, and now you got a bunch of Shana Aleph guys and Shana Bet guys that finished Kedusha. Some of them with multiple Chazaras. Most guys here finished Sota, many with multiple Chazaras. Right, what happened here was nothing short of remarkable. Let's compare your senior year in high school to this year. Okay, let's have a mashal. You're walking on a road in the pitch darkness. And evil lurks everywhere. And there are pitfalls everywhere. And they come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes. It could be drugs. It could be alcohol. It could be porn. It could be bad crowds. Alien culture. And you need a light. But in high school, what did you do? You just lit up. It was a J. It was a Jewel. It might be a pen. Or maybe you just went to your smartphone. But now this year you had Torah and Mitzvah. Torah and Mitzvah. What a difference a year makes. What a difference. You came to the crossroads. You came to the intersection. And now you can clearly see the road signs ahead. And you guys clearly know what derech to walk upon. And I know I'm speaking on behalf of the entire staff to say that we feel it's a privilege that we get you at this critical junction of your life when you're trying to figure out what path you're going to take. And that we help you try to choose the right path. I feel, and I'm sure, like I said, I'm speaking for everyone, what is chus that we spend our days doing this? And if so, at this time, I want to speak about what Rabbi David said. Rabbi David said, Netiv Aryeh, Netiv means paths. But it's in the singular. Because everyone has his own path. And Rabbeinu built a yeshiva understanding that. He understood that some guys, they need an intellectual shir. And some guys need music and stories. Some guys need chasidut. And some guys need heart-to-heart conversations. Some guys need to work through a difficult sugya. And some, or maybe most of us, need a little bit of everything. And Baruch Hashem, Rabbeinu created a staff where you can get a little bit of everything, everywhere you look. And it's really a remarkable thing that is put together that we were zoched to enjoy. And at this point, I'd like to therefore say some thank yous. First and foremost to Rabbeinu, who put it all together. I'd like to say thank you to the people that hardly ever get thank yous, and that's the Madrichim. Okay, unbelievable. I know that we have so many throughout the years, but Joey's here. And special thanks to Joey's been here forever, and the Chassan, Joey here? I don't, whatever. We'll tell him. Joey's here. Good. Okay. There's so many people that we don't see behind the scenes, right? We have Reb Tzvi Bina. We have Eli and Daniel, maintenance. We have Chaim, setting the kitchen, and we have Gabriel. We have Ravasi, making sure of everything going well, right? We had this year Captain Tzvi working harder than ever. And we had the rabbis. You guys don't realize, but this week will be the first extended vacation that the rabbis have had in 2 years. Right? It's very, very remarkable what the the Rabbanim here have done. And last but not least, when we were in the Tivot, we were in Ariya, so Rav Hanan was about to tell a story, and then we got cut off. So Rav Hanan we know, he was going to go to yeshiva, and then Rabbi David said no, he had to go be with Rav Bina. And I, for one, thought, what a stupid idea. Okay, here came Hanan, same age as the guys, maybe younger, and telling them what to do, and I thought, this is the worst idea. But where would Yeshiva Netiv Aryeh be today without Rav Hanan Bina? And now you know why people go to Rabbi David to ask questions, and not to me. At least one of the reasons. I want to end with one idea that I saw this week from Rav Zevin. Rav Shlomo Yosef Zevin. It's fitting. Today was the yahrzeit of the Lubavitcher Rebbe. He was a Chabad Chassid who I just saw and I looked it up. Very cool. When Rav Nachum Mendel Schneerson was suggested to the previous Rebbe to be a shidduch for his daughter, he asked Rav Shlomo Zalman Zev, Rav Shlomo Yosef Zevin, to sit and talk with him and learn it. And they talked through the night, and he gave him the thumbs up. Okay, so Rav Shlomo Yosef Zevin said, what's going on with Parshas Korach? We just read Korach saying, if you have a beged kulot chelis, what needs tzitzis? So Rav Zevin quoted our Gemara and said that what's chelis? Tchelis is all about emunah. We saw in Sota, I see tchelis, I think of the sea. From the sea, I think of the sky. From the sky, I get to the kisei hakavod. Tchelis is all about emunah. And Korach said, I heard the first two commandments like you did. There shouldn't be, there's only one God, believe in God, don't have any other gods. All that other stuff, all the mitzvot, who needs it? That's what Korach said. And Moshe Rabbeinu says, no, the beged kulot chelis needs tzitzis. What's tzitzis? Uri yisim oso, zechartem et kol mitzvot. You see it and you have to do all the mitzvot. We all know the famous gematria, that tzitzit is taryag with the knots and the strings. And this is telling us that the emunah, we had a whole emunah week, it cannot just be theoretical. It has to be translated into practical. And with this I'll end. It's not enough for us to learn Torah, we have to live Torah. Thank you very much.
This way.
Everybody's the door.